We're here to talk about how AI really works. The whole point of this is to get you fully prepped for your workshop discussion, so you can go in with a really solid understanding of what's going on under the hood of this incredible technology. So, let's get right into it. Okay, let's just dive right into the deep end, shall we? This is the biggest question on everyone's mind. When you're using something like ChatGPT, is it actually thinking? I mean, it feels like it, right? When it spits out a perfect email or a complex piece of code, it's hard not to believe there's a mind in there.
Well, the surprising and maybe even a little strange answer is a big, fat no. It's not thinking, it doesn't understand things, and it definitely doesn't have consciousness. The way it actually works is, in some ways, a lot simpler, and honestly, a lot more fascinating than just a thinking machine.
See, at its very core, what an AI like this really is an incredibly powerful prediction engine. That's its whole job. It's been trained on a mind-boggling amount of text from the internet, and its one and only goal is to calculate which word is statistically most likely to come next. It's not about understanding, it's about being the ultimate pattern-matching machine.
And that right there, that gets us to the absolute core secret of AI, the fundamental difference between it and us. AI is all about pattern simulation, while we humans are all about meaning-making. You know this distinction? It's the key to understanding everything else we're going to talk about. I love this quote because it just nails the difference perfectly. An AI doesn't know what a dog is. It doesn't have memories of petting a dog or the feeling of a wet nose. It's just analyzed millions of sentences where the word dog appears and has built a model of how humans usually write about dogs. It's a master of imitation, not experience.
Okay, so you're probably thinking, wait a minute, if it doesn't understand anything, how in the world can it summarize a whole article or explain a complex topic? That is a fantastic question. Let's pull back the curtain and see what's actually happening when an AI reads something.
It's really just a mechanical six-step process. First, it doesn't see words like we do. It smashes the text into little pieces called tokens. Then it turns those tokens into long strings of numbers. That's what a vector is. Now, step 3 is where the real magic happens. A mechanism called attention figures out which of those numbers, or tokens, are most important and how they relate to each other, even across a really long document. From there, it spots structural patterns, like, oh, this looks like a topic sentence, and then it makes a statistical guess about what a response should look like. Notice it never actually stops to understand the idea. For an AI, reading and responding are basically the same single action.
Here's a fantastic way to think about it. It's like listening to a song in a language you don't speak a word of. You can still pick up on the patterns, right? You can tell where the chorus is, you can feel the rhythm, you can recognize the structure. But the actual meaning, the story the lyrics are telling, you have no idea. That's the AI. It's a master of the rhythm of language, but a stranger to its meaning.
All right, so that's text. But what about images? How does an AI see a picture? Well, you might be surprised to learn that the process is incredibly similar. It's not about seeing like you and I do. It's all about turning the visual world into numbers and hunting for patterns. Take a look at this image. We instantly see a toilet tank. We know what it is, what it does, the context. An AI sees none of that. To the machine, this is just a giant spreadsheet, a massive grid of numbers. Each number just represents a single pixel's color and brightness. That's it. The whole picture is just a wall of data. So from that giant wall of numbers, it starts to pick out super basic things. It detects edges, simple shapes like lines and circles, different textures. Then it looks at how all these little pieces are arranged. And after all that, it compares those patterns to the millions of other labeled images it was trained on and makes a statistical guess. It concludes, this specific combination of lines, cylinders, and smooth white texture
has a 98% probability of being what humans label a toilet tank.
Okay, so now that we've got a handle on how the machine processes information, we can get into a really interesting comparison. Let's talk about where we as humans still have the undeniable edge. Where do we truly excel?
Let's start with meaning itself. An AI can look up the word anger and give you a perfect definition based on all the text it's read. But for us, for humans, that word is connected to so much more. It's tied to real memories, to physical sensations, to lived experiences. We don't just know what anger is, we feel it. Next up, what about moral judgment? This one's huge. An AI can explain different ethical theories, utilitarianism, deontology, you name it. But it can't take responsibility for a decision. We humans are the ones who have to make choices that have real consequences, and we're the ones who are held accountable for them.
And then there's creativity. An AI is an amazing remix artist. It can take existing patterns and ideas and combine them in brand new, sometimes brilliant ways. But human creativity comes from a totally different place. It's driven by intention. We create with a purpose, whether it's to make someone laugh, to heal a wound, or to inspire change.
All right, let's bring all of this home. How does all this theory connect to the discussion you're about to have in your workshop? We're going to tee up the key questions and give you some solid ideas and talking points to really get the conversation rolling.
Okay, question number 1 for your group. And this is a biggie. Knowing what we now know about what AI can and can't do, what are the sacred parts of learning that should never be handed over to a machine? So when you're talking about this, remember what we just covered. The key is to focus on the uniquely human stuff. Things like helping someone find their motivation, their purpose, guiding them as they form their own values and sense of self, developing moral judgment, and of course the big one, helping them connect what they're learning to their own lived experience. That's meaning making, and that's our job. All right, next up for discussion. This is something you've probably noticed yourself when using these tools. Why is it that AI is so incredibly good at writing summaries, but seems to fall apart a bit when you ask it for deep, critical reasoning?
Well, the answer goes right back to what we've been talking about. Summarizing is, at the end of the day, a pattern-matching task. Human writing is pretty predictable. There's an intro, there are topic sentences, there's a conclusion. AI is brilliant at spotting those patterns and just reassembling the key pieces. But deep reasoning? That's a whole different ballgame. That requires understanding context, having personal experiences, and making moral judgments, all the things AI simply doesn't have. And for your final discussion point, let's look to the future. This really gets to the heart of our new relationship with this technology. As AI gets better and better at just giving us the answers, what is it that we humans need to get better at?
The big idea here is that our job doesn't disappear, it just moves up the stack. As AI takes care of the what, our role becomes all about the why and the how. Our value will come from asking better, more profound questions. It'll be about defining which problems are even worth solving in the first place. It's about integrating knowledge with our values to make wise choices, and about leading and creating with that unique human intention we talked about.
So this is where we land. AI is the ultimate pattern processor. We are the ultimate meaning makers, and that simple fact changes everything. The real power isn't in the answers AI gives us, but in the quality of the questions we ask it. So that leaves you with one final thought to carry into your workshop. What is the most important question you will ask? Good luck with your discussion.
Learn the kind of English that AI can't replace. Join Beyond Norm's full text input and output training and stay competitive for the future.